Hey, Barrett Edelstein here, your celeb expert and your Celeb Savant. Celeb Savant is a weekly entertainment show. We have long-form career retrospective type interviews with celebrities, singers, actors, and industry experts. Hailing from the Northwest Province in South Africa, Basson Laas resigned from his day job to become a full-time musician. The singer-songwriter has released his debut single, Tightly Bound, a precursor to his 5-track EP, Good Morning Dreamer, and he's currently performing live around the country. He's an up-and-coming artist whose music is trailblazing and inspiring. Up next on Celeb Savant, we've got Basson Laas. Where do we find you in the world? What's happening in your life, and how are you doing?
I am doing very well, Barrett. Thank you for having me on your show. What's happening in my world is it has been a crazy 3 months since releasing my first couple of songs all over on the interwebs. And it's been a fun and an endearing and also a challenging time, but I'm excited for it. It's really been just an awesome experience. So I'm very grateful for that.
And where are you?
So I'm based, you mean?
Yes.
Or
yeah.
So I live in Pretoria,
Okay.
based in Pretoria. So most of the shows are in and around Gauteng. But of course, people can find me on Facebook and Instagram mainly because I was born in the 90s. So we have Facebook and we have Instagram. We don't have TikTok yet.
Let's rewind to the very beginning. You said you only recently decided to release music, but let's rewind. So what stage did you think, cool, whether it was a child more recently or as a teen, I want to be in the music world, entertainment world, and how did that accumulation of journey progress to where we are currently sitting today?
Well, the first time I sang over a mic was in 2014. And it was just some social event for varsity because I studied at the University of Pretoria back then. It was just a matter of throwing a couple of songs together with two of my friends, and we had this mini set. And I performed a couple of my own songs there as well. But I think it really sort of the bug bit me there. I realized, this is fun. I've written some songs since earliest 2009 when I was still in high school. I taught myself playing the guitar since being early high school days, and it's always just been an instrument that I could take along on weekends or whenever you go away with friends. Unlike a piano or a violin, which are two instruments that I used to play when I was very, very young, but I wouldn't say that I would dabble in those anymore. So it's mainly been guitar, and lyric writing has been, from time to time, it has been a sort of like blowing off some steam or getting some thoughts out, or, just like in Afrikaans, a klep to like release. And it's really been a hobby, as a matter of fact. So, I've been performing some weddings and corporates and here and there in bars and restaurants for like background music type of thing since those days in 2014. We used to have a band called Man the Fields. That was the first sort of project that my two friends and I worked together. So we were this 3-piece. And it was fun playing at markets and, wherever they wanted us. We had a couple of originals, but it was mainly a cover band, of course, and very acoustic, folkish, like very like boom, 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 with a kick and a tambourine, if I can say it like that. Kick and tambourine on your feet, and that's still what I do nowadays. I mean, if I do my solo performances, then I have my kick on my right foot and my tambourine on my left, and that's just a way to like give myself that sense of percussion, or just a pulse. But it's really picked up only just before, let's say before COVID-ish, in a sense of performing at your friends' weddings and here and there, and I just really grew fond of this. It made me feel like, there's something there. If all else fails, then I can just pick up my guitar and try at least to pursue this as a career. And well, COVID came, and it was really a tough time for musicians, or for basically anybody in the entertainment industry or in all sorts of industries.
Mm.
But that wasn't the best time to, of course, enter being a musician, or the music industry. So it was after COVID that I felt like, my previous plans of perhaps going overseas. I wanted to teach English in South Korea very badly, but then, of course, COVID changed that. And I already resigned from my previous job in 2019, so I was kind of stuck. I really didn't know what else to do. And then and there, it just seemed like a good idea to try and dust off the guitar. Yeah, just put some glue to my bum and see if I can organize the shows that I needed to at least break even, or to cover my expenses
Yeah.
for monthly expenses. And yeah, that's basically how it how it came together.
So you said you released two singles. So your first couple of singles this year, correct?
Yeah, it's 4 songs. Yeah, so it's
Four
a
songs.
one single and a 4-track EP basically. That's
Okay.
that's out now.
Discussing that and your creative mind. So what inspires your creativity from 0 to 3 2 minute song? Is it an easy process? What is inspiration for those words and the lyrics and the music?
Mm.
Let's unpack your creative brain.
Well, so since I've started writing songs here and there, I mean, it's really been like maybe a song or two a year since early ages. And I wouldn't say that I'm like this songwriting machine at the moment. So every song that I have written are very dear and special to me, and sort of relates to a very specific time throughout my life. And I still dabble with, how it is exactly, what should a songwriting process necessarily entail. And I don't think there's a specific recipe. I
Mm.
mean, sometimes I'd have a cool melody first, and I'd write something maybe initially not really meant to mean something specific, just maybe have a good hook line or
Yeah.
whatever, that you write into that. Sometimes, or some other times, I have a nice lyric or a line that I feel like, oh, maybe perhaps this can resonate with someone out there, and then it's just a matter of putting the melody to it. But I think I'm really still figuring out what exactly my sound should be like, or sound like, and what my writing style will become. Well, I'll definitely figure that out in the next couple of years ahead. But I really just love, collecting these short lines of things that make sense, or things that I've heard somewhere. Maybe perhaps a friend's,
Mm.
mentioned this, and I felt like, hey, just hold on, let me just write this down quickly. Or perhaps I hear it in a movie, or read it in a book, or whatever. And I have these sort of notes on my phone that I collect from time to time. And
Okay.
then, I feel, let's just sit and sort of compile these things together, and sort of weave perhaps a storyline that can at least sound nice. But I mean, most of my music, or the songs that I have written yet and I haven't released yet, are very melancholic. So, well, I would say, like, I'm trying to say something sometimes that I'm not
Yes.
even sure exactly what it is. So if that makes sense. But
Yeah. So like singer-songwriter
I
style.
mean, it's singer-songwriter style, and it's, yeah, like, it's melancholic, and it's sort of got has a deeper meaning, and every listener can take something from that song differently than the person next to them,
Yeah.
which I think is nice. And I think it was just a matter of having these raw acoustic songs that I've been collecting, basically, one or two songs a year, and walking into the studio for the first time, saying, like, I've got these little songs, and the producer Werner Katz from Good Morning Sweet Songbird Studios, he said, listen, we've got some valuable songs here, and now we're going to color it in. And I think only when we started recording these first 4 songs, I really felt eager to explore,
Yes.
just recording the rest and yeah, see what comes out there, because it's really a fun process, but it's also a learning curve that I must adhere to. So yeah, I hope
I
that
love that
makes
thing
sense.
about that you said coloring in, because every person, when they listen to a song, they color in their feeling, words, or pictures that allows them to process and interpret and feel it in their way, because every person
Yeah,
processes information. Not one person interprets or processes information the same. So I love that coloring
yeah,
in.
absolutely.
We each take the colors that we want. Every person will take a different color crayon, and if some of us won't even, we'll just leave it to be black and white. So I love that
Yeah.
picture and love that interpretation. That's really beautifully.
It sometimes you feel like this song might just end up to be acoustic, and then, well, maybe the song asks for just being an acoustic singer-songwriter type song. And Strangers, one of the songs from the EP, is actually one of those songs that we tried when Vaden had asked me, so which song are we gonna record first? Which song are we gonna use to break the ice? We figured, let's do Strangers, because we think it's going to be this acoustic song. It ended up being much like higher production in a sense
Yes.
than initially being planned. But it was nice because you let the process go, and you sit there and you feel like, okay, so this is what we have. This is what we have as ideas. But if you feel like there needs to be a bass or a kick drum here or a snare there or whatever the case may be, or maybe let's build it throughout very slowly and then have this punchline at the end or this peak, then you have to go for it. I mean, it's you can always change it if you don't like it. And I think
Yeah.
that's the fun part of having this first experience in a studio and a proper studio, to be able to just let that process sort of follow its own way.
Yeah.
I really, really loved it, and looking forward to the next songs that I think Bernard and I are definitely going to work together for, at least a couple of more years, just to get the songs that I've already written out and to keep that golden thread of, the two of us working
Mm.
together. And we know how how the people have been responding to this EP so far, which is very nice to hear. And yeah, it gives us a lot of things to build from there. So it's nice to have these ideas.
You mentioned the next couple of years. So what's the short-term plan, the long-term plan?
I think short term, I'm still trying to promote this EP. Of course, I think I'll until I release another single, which I don't know when that's going to be. I mean, I'm really just eager to pay off the expenses from this project now
Yes.
for the next couple of months. I think short term, I'd really love to keep on promoting this EP and try and get myself performing as many shows as possible wherever in the country, because musicians have to perform
Mm.
in order to make money,
Yes.
especially if you are a newcomer like
Mm.
me. You can't really, the royalties don't pay much of any sorts from streaming platforms or
Yeah.
from
Absolutely.
from the radio or wherever. So you can't bargain on that. Performances are where it's at, and if I can perform at least, I mean, I think my goal right now is like 16 performances a month. If it's more, then it's great. But I think that should be my objective. And then long term, I would really love to bring out a couple of singles after this EP, just to keep the consistency, if I can say that, and then perhaps another EP or an album,
Yeah.
whichever it feels like to do, during that time, because like I mentioned, it is really expensive. It doesn't necessarily have to be expensive, but it is just a matter of, planning these things thoroughly and seeing where this goes. And I think most importantly, just to keep on enjoying it though,
Yes.
because it always needs to be fun. I mean, like, music can be work as well, and it is work especially if you do it full time, but it doesn't need to feel like it's agonizing
Yeah.
or, really something that you feel like you have to squeeze in order to get
Mm.
something out of there. It needs to come, I hope in the future it really would become a more natural endeavor. And I think I'm looking forward to that. So, but I mean, having too many plans, I've seen in the past has also been like, you have these plans, and if it doesn't work out, then you feel like, I didn't give it my best, or I wish this happened, or I wish that, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So I think the objectives needs to be, or your goals need to be attainable in a certain sense, because then you also feel that sense of checking the boxes
Yeah.
as you go along. And I mean, whatever things can happen in the next 3 years that would really be exciting. But it can also, I mean, it takes a long while for any musician to get themselves heard over the noise of hundreds and thousands of songs being released on all
Yep.
the streaming platforms every day. Hopefully, sometime in the near future, I could have that one song that people resonate with the most. And then it might be, it might get easier from there. But,
So let's
let's
rather
see.
say, not hopefully, it will happen. And it
Yeah,
put it out there, step into it. And also,
put it out there so people can hear.
yes, step out there and just own it and so like instead of taking it step by step, you're taking it note by note. Sorry, I just had to put that.
Yeah,
Just had to put that.
absolutely.
Note by note.
No pun intended.
Note was intended.
Okay.
I love this game. I know if I had to ask you this game in 2 seconds, 2 hours, 2 minutes, I know your answer will be different every time because there are millions of them and there are thousands of them. And I understand that. I recognize that. But if you had to push play to 5 songs by other artists once we finish this conversation, what would those 5 songs be and by whom?
I want to mention something real quick though,
Yeah.
is I think in the day and age that we're living in, where streaming platforms are the main place where people can
Yes.
get their music from. And Spotify has a fantastic algorithm to get you to listen to the songs that you might like in any case, right? So I've come to know that my playlist, for example, on Spotify, my own personal playlist, is a mixture of so many artists or bands that I don't necessarily even know, but I really love a specific song that I maybe heard on a Discover Weekly or
Okay. Yes.
whatever the vibe may be. And then perhaps if you come across a second song in the future, then you're like, oh, but this guy's voice sounds familiar. And then you tend to like listen to more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then perhaps you remember or recognize their name
Yeah.
in the future. But there are so many bands that I know the song, but I don't know the band. And just because I'm perhaps fond of the bass line in this song,
Yes.
or maybe the drum line in this song,
Okay.
or I love the subtle piano in this song, whatever the case may be. But that being said, there are, of course, bands that I've grown to love since I was a kid, like Coldplay, for example. I'm very, very fond of Coldplay, especially their older albums like X and Y and Viva La Vida. So Death and All Its Friends is definitely my number one song that I'd play. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, so I also grew up with U2 in the house. So I'd say With or Without You or
Yes.
Beautiful Day are also songs that are very recognizable and that I'd love to have on my playlist. I don't know if you're familiar with Shaky Graves and perhaps The Tallest Man on Earth. Both overseas artists as well. Shady Graves does the similar sort of like kick and tambourine with his feet, and it's inspiring to see him do his solo act. Roll the Bones is a song from him that I definitely add on a playlist as well. So Hosier is also a very, very nice band that I feel people need to listen to. And then of course there are, the classics like Lumineers and Mumford and Sons. Oh, and I must add a new artist that I recently discovered is Matt Mason. That guy has a fantastic way of writing catchy lyrics. The song there is Cringe is the one, and Hallucinogenics is the other one.
But so on the podcast is listened to throughout the world. So as a final message to the listening audience, what would you like to say?
Thank you for having me, Barrett. And I'd like to just say, if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to Good Morning Dreamer yet, it's available on Spotify and on Apple Music or wherever you tend to go and listen to your music. And I've also got a couple of music videos out there that I'd really love if the people could watch that, and let me know what they think, because I really feel like we did a good job with regards to the production value of the two music videos. And both of the music videos, there's a link between the two, and they both music videos tell a similar story or the same story, just like in different time, periods of the character's life. Yeah, go watch that, and let me know what you think of the EP, and if there is something you resonate with, let me know. Of course, you can grab hold of me on anywhere, basically. Yeah, just thank you in advance for the support.